My Little Pony has made a lot of merchandise, from brush bowls to blind bags, but there's one line of toys that has been covered out by fans for its awesome articulation. Today we look back at the Guardians of Harmony merchandise of My Little Pony toys. Starting off with this line in my order of perspective of character-wise is Twilight Sparkle with the Changeling, which is a 2-pack that consists of Twilight Sparkle in her Alicorn form, along with a standard Changeling minion. Because I was able to order a second Guardians of Harmony Twilight just for this review and probably even turn the second one into a custom, I also wanted to get this second one just for another Changeling. But anyways, the box looks pretty nice and simple for this 2-pack. You can see Twilight and Sparkle and the Changeling in the respected packaging, along with the accessories that they come with. And as you can see, it looks like they are duking it out in a massive fight. The sides of the packaging are pretty simple with image artwork of Twilight Sparkle and Changelings all over. While the back of the box shows you on what you get, which says Princess Twilight Sparkle versus Changeling. Also along with this kind of basic kind of packaging is a really awesome looking backdrop of what appears to be Canterlot being swarmed by changelings. Like, they are everywhere. Anyways, let's take a look at Twilight Sparkle herself. So far, Twilight Sparkle has a pretty cool sculpt, and she has the cutie mark on one side of the flanks. Her wings are alicorn shaped, just like in the show season 3. She has a pretty interesting sculpt, but sometimes the details of her tail and mane are only on one side. As for articulation, she has a hinge that goes up and down at the neck, as well as a head swivel. The wings are also articulationable. You could even move the tail back and forth, up and down too a little bit. Just be careful so they don't snap. You could even move her front arms, or legs if you call them, like up and down because it's on hinge, and it's a swivel too. And what's even cooler is you could even turn the hooves, the hoof part left and right too, and bend it too, which gives Twilight Sparkle a really good amount of articulation depending on what kind of pose you want to give her. However, there is one thing about the Twilight figure that I don't really understand, is that they didn't paint her teeth in, which is odd because this Twilight Sparkle has a very, very serious look to her face. And they didn't, and for some reason Hasbro decided not to paint the teeth on the specific Twilights I had found or ordered. Strange, but there might be some that are painted, unless those are prototypes. But that's not really a big problem because you could just paint the teeth on with paint or something, just to fix that detail. As for the Changeling, let's take a look at the Changeling minion. The Changeling minion, of course, has similar articulation to Twilight, like the tail articulation and the legs moving. The only difference is that his, he doesn't have the, elbow parts of the hooves articulation, which means he has only 2 parts of articulation less than the average pony. His head turns like that and has a slightly more straightly profound downward hinge, meaning he can move a lot better than in basic, head movement, which is pretty interesting in my opinion. He also has the hole details that are actually sculpted in the legs, and that makes her look really cool because the changelings, when they weren't metamorphosized in Season 2, they had the holes in their legs. Plus, the changeling minion also has these wings that are also translucent, and his fangs are also painted in, unlike Twilight Sparkle's. Twilight Sparkle also comes with a fair share of accessories like 4 golden horseshoes, the saddle thing that comes with those clampers to grab the changeling, a spear, and a pin. Looking at the spear, it looks pretty nice. It's got a really sharp point, and it's got a little clip-on thing that you put on one of the pony's front legs so they can hold the spear. Also, I really warn you, like, not to, like, poke anyone with the sharp point of that spear, because that thing is sharp, and it's like a solid plastic. It's not flimsy. As for the horseshoes, they're one simple molded piece. They're just like a simple horseshoe of a hole in the bottom. They're supposed to be like the horseshoes that Twilight wears at the end of Season 3's ceremony. The pin looks like this with a purple shield with Twilight Sparkle's Q mark and what appears to be a moon that's sideways with the thing that you can clip on your shirt or onto the pony. As for the clampers, it looks like this. They have a open and close feature, and they can open up if you want to put them on Twilight Sparkle. When playing this feature, you simply turn these big pieces of the clamper around, but be careful because it knocks the wings off Twilight sometimes, which is not that big of a problem, but it's easy to fix. And have them in the front like this, and when you bring your changeling out, you simply grab the edges of the clamper, and it opens up, and then you grab the changeling, grab those two tabs with your thumbs, lift it up, and it looks like Twilight's picking up the changeling and ready to throw it. Up next on our set of characters that I know about from this line, and I do have some of these Guardians of Harmony figures, but not all of them. But let's get to the second character in this, and start off with Rainbow Dash. Now, fun fact, Rainbow Dash is actually the very first Guardians of Harmony character that I've actually gotten it so far. And so far, her sculpt is pretty interesting. She's got the nice cyan blue with the rainbow-colored red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and colors, on her mane and tail, but it's not accurate, but it's close. The mane is sculpted pretty nicely, though, but I feel like the colors should have been a lot more better. Anyways, her expression is a lot more, determined, sort of like Twilight's, but instead of a snarly mouth, it's more like a determined smile. She has the same similar articulation to Twilight Sparkle, and her Q mark is on the side that I'm pointing to right now. As for the articulation-wise, she has the same articulation as Twilight Sparkle, with the head moving left and right, up and down, the wings and the legs and the tail. Which can make it have a more dynamic pose for Rainbow Dash, which was pretty cool. Rainbow Dash also comes with some accessories too, like a yellow Q mark, like lightning bolt spear thing, which I've misplaced somewhere, along with some goggles, which I can't seem to find. However, I did manage to find a pretty crucial yet awesome accessory that Rainbow Dash comes with, and that is Tank. Of course, Tank, the tortoise, is a simple two-piece thing, with the propeller being a separate piece. The sculpted Tank is pretty nice too, with him having the sculpted on goggles and belt and helmet part for the propeller. He's also got the underside details of a shell, and the propeller spins, as it's a separate piece, with very little friction. Up next on the line is Pinkie Pie, the lovable party pony. Her key mark is on the same side as Rainbow Dash, and however, she's a earth pony. She's got the accurate colors of pink, and her eyes are in a cheery expression, with her mouth open showing her tongue. She has a similar articulation to all the other ponies, except that her head can move the same as the other ponies, and she has a lot more motion in her head and arms and legs, only by smoothness, depending on which one you got. The tail also moves. Sadly, I don't know what happened to my Pinkie Pie's accessories, but I do know what she came with. She came with what appeared to be a helmet that she could wear on her head, a rubber chicken, and a cannon, a party cannon, which has, this is where the gimmick is. Basically, you put the rubber chicken accessory that she comes with into the cannon, you pull on the little knob on the back, and when you let go, it launches the chicken. Up next on our line is Applejack, which is actually part of the Slightly Wave 2 line, which she has more accessories, but let's focus on AJ herself. She has the nice green eyes, and she has a calm expression, with the apples on the applique mark on this side where her ponytail is showing. Now, she has her hat as the accessory, which is removable. And it's made of a very soft rubbery plastic, meaning you can put it back on. Although it can be a little bit finicky. Her mane and tail are sculpted pretty nicely too, and she's got the freckles on her face too. As for the articulation, she's got the head articulation, like however all the others. However, that ponytail part of her mane is going to prohibit it some movement of turning, so she can only turn one way. This also would affect her one hoof, meaning while one arm moves perfectly fine, the other is prohibited due to the details of the mane. But there is a way you could get through that. The legs move smoothly too, and so does the tail. Applejack comes with a pretty good amount of accessories like the hat, a boot, which comes with a gray thing that has a turning feature, and she also comes with a green handkerchief and a cowgirl rope or cowboy rope, depending on how you call it, that you can even plug into the gray part and it rotates. Sadly, with all those accessories I can't find, but thankfully I was able to hang on to the hat accessory. Let's talk about the royal prince of the Crystal Empire himself, Shining Armor. Now, Shining Armor, just like Twilight, has a pretty serious look on his face. His sculpt is pretty nice too, and unlike Twilight, the details on his mane and tail are on both sides. His horn, however, is part of the mane, meaning it's a different sculpted piece. He has his Q mark on one side of his flanks, and, that's Shining Armor. As for his hooves are also blue. As for articulation, he can move left and right and has slightly more of a movement when moving downward like this. However, his front arms or hooves, legs, it's prohibited due to the way of how his body was sculpted, but it can get to this far and can bend this far. However, my elbow parts of him are pretty stiff due to age. However, his legs move fine, and so does his tail. His accessories were also a spear, and he came with a bunch of armor too, like a shield, a helmet, and body armor, which I can't seem to find. Since there are villains in the My Little Pony franchise, I do have what I call my favorite MLP villain figurine of the Guardians of Harmony line. One and only Queen Chrysalis, that comes with a small spike. Now, Queen Chrysalis here is a pretty nice sculpt, and she's got the nicely bluish teal mane. She's got the crooked horn, the crown. Her ears are folded back. She's got the green eyes. She's got details in her, she's got the translucent wings and that detail on her back and underside with the bluish and greens. And just like the changeling, she has got holes in her legs and even in her tail and mane. Now, her articulation and posability is different. She cannot pose her head left and right, but she can move it back and forth due to a special gimmick that I'll talk about later. Her tail also is spring-loaded because of this reason. But for articulation, Her wings do move, and they are also slightly translucent. Her front legs move normally like the ponies. But it's just amazing how they engineered this chrysalis to look this cool. Now, her back legs are in a pre-assumed pose, but they can still move, but it might be a bit tricky for her to stand up. And the cool thing about this is that if you have a 6-inch if you have a Guardians of Harmony chrysalis, she actually scales really good with the Jakks Pacific 6-inch Bowser figure. I think it was just a coincidence that it happened. As for what came with her, she comes with armor, which consists of some wheels, 2 swords that are crooked, a armored mask that goes on her face, some boots that go on her front hooves, and a little Spike the Dragon figure that is in armor and is wielding a lance, which all those accessories I can't seem to find. While I don't have all the Guardians of Harmony character figurines, I do have pictures of what the others look like, and I could talk about these figures too, because they're part of the line. Starting off with the Shadow Bolt. Now, the Shadow Bolt is a character that was actually part of a manifestation of Nightmare Moon from the first ever episode of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. Just like the Rainbow Dash figurine, the Shadow Bolt has the same Pegasus pony articulation, except it has the goggles, which are more serious looking. It's in its Shadow Bolt uniform. It's got the pin, which has a horse skull on it for some reason, a gray version of the spear thing that it wears, and its accessory is a cockatrice. That's right, a cockatrice. That creature from the Everfree Forest that can turn living ponies into stone. Our final character of the single figurine packs is Daring Do. Who I'm pretty bummed out that I didn't get the chance to get her when she was in store. Aside from that, she has a similar sculpt to Rainbow Dash with the sculpted mane and tail, except it being in a monochrome color. Daring Do's wings are also in a closed, folded form, and her key mark is on the opposite side of this picture right here. The eyes, however, are the same as Rainbow Dash's. However, Daring Do comes with a whole boatload of accessories, like the hat, a treasure, which seems to be an idol, a boot similar to Applejack, a suction cup zip holder that can actually hold her while the suction cup is on some like a window, which is pretty cool. And she also comes with a whip. The final 2 pony pack of action figures of this line that I remember of together is the Wonderbolts pack, which consists of Soren and Spitfire. Now, Spitfire and Soren both have the same articulation. However, their accessories are goggles, a pin, and a special device contraption that you can put one of them in the thing, and it also lights up and the wings open up. There is one more male MLP character that came in a single pack, but came with some slightly bigger accessories and more fun. That being Cheese Sandwich. Now, we all know Cheese Sandwich to be the Weird Al of the My Little Pony world. Now, just like Pinkie Pie, he has the same articulation, except his accessories are a lot more interesting. He comes with a helmet just like Pinkie Pie, a pin that can you put on his hoof, a tank, a bigger party tank that you can roll that has wheels on the bottom of its treads, which also has a lever on the side where you press down, and it has 3 rubber chickens that you can shoot out. Up next in the Guardians of Harmony line is a deluxe toy, which is none other than Spike the Dragon, which in this box contains the big Spike that has light up eyes and sounds, can shoot fireballs, has armor that the small Spike or a pony can ride on, and the head armor too, as well as the pin. Up next in the line is more of a statue thing with only 2 points of articulation, where these two collector statue figures of Princess Celestia and Nightmare Moon. Now the sculpt overall is pretty nice, but as for articulation, there wasn't really that much. Only 2 points, which were their wings. Up next is the one and only Draconiquist Discord. Now, the Discord figure of the Guardians of Harmony line is pretty interesting, as it's just a simple statue with only 2 points of articulation being his wings. Overall, the sculpt is nice, and in the single pack one, his eyes are closed, and he's holding his upside down umbrella, and he's sitting on his throne, and he's holding his iconic glass of chocolate milk. However, in the Comic-Con exclusive, he is the same Discord, except his eyes are more open, and he comes with a exclusive Fluttershy that was only exclusive to the set. Now, Discord is the same, just with the open eyes, but Fluttershy here is a completely completely new thing for this set. Now, Fluttershy would have the same articulation as the Rainbow Dash, like the head, the wings, the arms, legs, everything. When the My Little Pony movie of 2017 came out, the Guardians of Harmony line also decided to add in some movie-related stuff. And we'll start off with the Stratus Sky Ranger Hippogriff Guard, which is also pretty hard to find, and it was pretty expensive too, about $49 or $50, depending where you find them. Now, what did this guy do? Basically, if you press the button on the underneath of his tail, he would make bird noises, flap his wings, and can even pick up ponies and other stuff with his front claws. Continuing on with the pirate theme in the MLP movie is one of the pirate characters known as Boyle. Now, Boyle is the green parrot character, and basically he has some articulation, like a head swivel and some arm movement, but he has a gimmick where you could switch the things out of his, hook hand. Like, his hook hand thing has what appears to be a hammer, a drill, an anchor, and a steering wheel. Finishing off with the MLP pirate themes of parrots is the Captain Solano herself. And she comes along with Spike the Dragon, probably the same one that came with the big Spike, but the accessories for Solano is her pirate outfit armor, a treasure chest, a sword for Spike, and a pirate hat for Spike. Up next, even though it's not really related to the Guardians of Harmony line, it still has a similar character that is important because he was in the movie, and that is the one and only Capper Dapper Paws, the Abyssinian. Now, Capper here, he doesn't have much articulation, only being the arms, probably the tail, and the head. Now, I've seen this guy in promotional pictures being posed with the Guardians of Harmony. However, he was with the Brushable rarity from the Brushable set for the movie. Up next, we have another deluxe-like figure, and that is Tempest Shadow with her airship-like thing. Now, let's look at Tempest Shadow, or Fizzle Pop Berry Twist, however you like to call her. Now, basically, she's got the nice, details of purple with the mohawk mane and the broken horn. She also has her armor sculpted on the body, and her accessory is that cart that she can actually drive. Because there was a pirate section of the Guardians of Harmony line, I'd like to quickly talk about the Guardians of Harmony, pirate line of the ponies, which were Twilight, Applejack, Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, and Rainbow Dash. Now, this is going to be a really quick process. Now, Twilight would come with pirate outfit, a telescope, and what appears to be a effect that you could put on her horn, which shows her shooting out magic, but in the shape of a lasso. Applejack would come with a hat, some more pirate stuff, and this rocket pack thing. Fluttershy would come with a bottle, a headband, and a pirate version of Angel Bunny. Pinkie Pie would come with her pirate attire, Gummy, the baby alligator, and a little costume for Gummy. The Pirate Pinkie Pie, Pirate Fluttershy, Applejack, and Twilight were also about $10. However, the only way to get the Pirate Rainbow Dash was to get the giant airship. Now, the giant airship costs on eBay or Amazon, depending where you find it, to be about $70 at retail, which is pretty insane, if you ask me. Finishing off with the set of statues under the MLP fan series, which are still under the Guardians of Harmony line, there were 4 more collectible statue pieces that were pretty awesome. We had one where Twilight Sparkle was fighting off Tempest Shadow. We had one with Queen Chrysalis with 2 changelings. We had one with Vinyl Scratch playing music on her wubs. And we also had Trixie and Starlight Glimmer on the rocket that lit up. There was one more My Little Pony Guardians of Harmony based statue based on the movie, and that is of the main villain of the movie, the Storm King, along with his little accomplice Grubber. Now, the Storm King looks pretty cool despite being a statue. You could see that his scepter is shooting out a whole bunch of lightning and stuff out, and Grubber's just there sitting. The final articulated My Little Pony figure set of the Guardians of Harmony was actually the Cutie Crusaders. Now, the Cutie Crusaders pack of the Guardians of Harmony line was pretty interesting too, as it came with Apple Bloom, Sweet Belle, and Scootaloo, who are a lot more shorter than the 4-inch ponies, which is pretty accurate. And they had the cutie marks as in later seasons. Their accessories would be roller skates, Scootaloo's helmet and scooter, and a wagon for 2 ponies to ride in Scootaloo the Paw. After the final pieces of the Guardians of Harmony line were released, the Guardians of Harmony line discontinued, which meant we never got an action figure of Rarity. So, what I decided to do is make a concept art of what a Rarity action figure will look like for this line. So basically, Rarity would be having a similar head sculpt to the ones from the Meet the Main 6-pack. The body would be sort of like Pinkie Pie, it's just white, and the articulation would be pretty much the same as Pinkie Pie too. As for Rarity's accessories, she should have came with a golden necklace, a bag that she could hold on her hoof, a pin with her Q mark, and why not finish it off with her pet cat Opal as a animal accessory. Sadly, ever since Toys R Us closed down and the Guardians of Harmony line had finished shortly after its latest figures, people have been wondering of why it was so short-lived. Some could say it was depending on distribution, but the thing was, this had a lot of distribution of stuff. Like, there was a lot of these, like, sent to stores and Amazon shelves and stuff. Some of them sold, but we didn't know how much were sold. And it's really sad to see that we never got a proper articulated Rarity or characters like an actual articulated version of Princess Celestia, Luna, Cadence, or Rarity in general. It sucks to see that some characters that were pretty key characters of the show didn't get a action figure of this kind of style. But hey, we gotta understand that some things may not always happen, and we gotta be happy with what we get from these kinds of markets. The Guardians of Harmony My Little Pony action figure line will probably be my all-time favorite line of My Little Pony figures. Probably because for the articulation in the characters, as well as the sculpt and expressions and accessories. And now you might wonder, if you can't get the Comic-Con exclusive Discord with Fluttershy, you can always get the Meet the Main six-pack of figurines that also comes with a sculpted mane and tail Fluttershy and Rarity, but the only articulation is the tail. But they are still in scale with the Guardians of Harmony line. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it lets you understand a little more about this line. Thanks for watching. This is Jeffrey Sambursky, signing out.